This truck absolutely surprised me in ways I didn't expect. These are the 5 things I absolutely love about my 2025 Ford F-150 Tremor. When you spend time with a truck like this, some things really start to stand out. From the tech that makes driving almost effortless, to the power underneath the hood, and the comfort and convenience of the options that are on this. Well, you get to loving a few of these things. So this video is about the 5 things I absolutely love about my Ford F-150 Tremor, and actually I got a huge surprise with one of those things. So let's put the pedal to the metal and get right into it. All right, number 1, I absolutely love the powertrains that are available for the Ford F-150s. Whether you get the V8, that's a 5-liter, twin camshafts on the top of the engine with variable positioning, so they can either be very powerful or very economic when it comes to fuel consumption. Absolutely great engine, 400 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque, or my favorite actually, surprise, surprise, we've got the EcoBoost 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo. This thing's got 500 pound-feet of torque and 400 horsepower, and it's an absolute blast to drive because it's got a lot of low-end torque. And the transmission on this now is actually fantastic because it's a 10-speed, so you've got lower gears for absolute acceleration fun, or you can be coasting along in town in the city in 6th or 7th gear, and then you can be coasting on the highway in 10th gear. So whatever your speed you're going, you've got the best of both worlds. You can have all sorts of power, or you can have a very fuel efficient motor. Both motors are great. Don't let anyone tell you that the 5-liter takes a ton more gas. Little secret, the EcoBoost and the 5-liter V8, very similar on fuel use. However, I just love the low-end torque of the EcoBoost. Absolute blast. Catch our last video on it. This thing spins tires, even with the traction control on, very, very easily. And as a small bonus, the hood that the motor is just underneath doesn't have a little stick, so I'm quite pleased it's on pistons, so the hood goes up on its own. Great little, it doesn't cost manufacturers all that much money, but it is great to have because it's very practical for opening and closing. No stick in the way. And let's get to the second thing I absolutely love about the Ford F-150 Tremor. Second thing I absolutely love about really any dual exhaust Ford F-150 is the sound. That 6-cylinder sounds surprisingly extremely good, and the 5-liter V8 sounds even better. Let's get a close-up. Now let's get to the third thing I love about the Ford F-150. I'm a huge fan of the Ford F-150 styling because whether you get more of a standard base model in, let's say, the STX, great styling. Ford's not, forcing you to have an ugly truck if you get the standard equipment, so you can avoid all the tech and get an STX. Save thousands of dollars, and you still have a great looking truck in the Ford F-150 STX. But if you do spend extra money, like on this Tremor, they're gonna throw in standard all the tech, which is actually gonna be a little later down on the list. But you've got the tech, but you've got a truck that's both very comfortable to drive here, but also very rugged and capable. So it's great to take me to work on a daily basis, but it's got, it's rugged, it's off-road capable, it's got the tow hooks, it's got the skid plate underneath. It's got tires that you can drive in the snow, in the mud, all over the place. And still, these tires are very long-lasting tires, so you should be able to get about 70,000 kilometers out of them, out of the general grabber. They're 3-peak snowflake rated, so that is absolutely fantastic. So it's not just rugged looks, you also have technology to help make this a good off-road vehicle, like trail control, sort of like a cruise control for off-road. You've got trail turn assist. You've got good angles of clearance, good height on all the F-150s, but this one's roughly 2 inches higher. Now let's get into the third thing I absolutely love about the Ford F-150, and maybe for this one it's the Tremor in particular. Now the Ford F-150s are really comfortable, and they're solid. I like to drive quickly. I like to go into turns quickly, and the trucks at Ford are very solid. I like that suspension, but I also like how that suspension can work really hard. Now, you do feel bumps in this. It's not the softest, most absorbing suspension, but that's also why this thing can work. You've got a payload of right around 1,800 pounds that you can add, weight you can add to the truck. That's your payload, and that's really high for this segment of truck. So I like the fact that I can work this, and I'm willing to accept that I feel the bumps a bit more, but for how much payload this truck can has, it is a very comfortable daily driver. And because the suspension is a little harder and ready to work, it's just fantastic to take through the bendies as a truck. Now the Tremor, a little less so than if you go with your standard F-150, but all the Ford F-150s are comfortable to drive on a daily basis, even the ones that look more rugged, including the F-150 Raptor that I had. Now onto the fourth thing that I love about this truck. All right, so I absolutely love the tech on this truck. Love the tailgate that has automatic down and automatic up. So great tech. Like the ladder in the box there. Lariats and up have like a pro tailgate. The tailgate kind of opens up in the middle. Love the keyless entry. And you can lock it by putting your thumb there or unlock. Blind spot detection. This is standard from starting at XLT 302. Love that the Tremors and Lariats come with a great sounding Bang & Olufsen sound system. So still great tech there. Love the fact that an XLT 302 has adaptive cruise control. That works really well. And I did have trouble with my BlueCruise and adaptive cruise control in the past. That's going to be number 5. BlueCruise I surprisingly love. I've had issues with it in the past, so we'll go test that out in just a moment. But loving the tech. Like how this is, this is nifty. It's not necessary, but nice added touches. Wireless charging we've got available. That's not standard. We've got the roof, panoramic roof, not available. Not standard, but it is available with a price. So I like that Ford's not forcing equipment on us at a price and raising the price. I love the interiors of the Fords. The seats are incredibly comfort. I'll put that should have been number 2 under the comfort category. But the technology on this is great. The big 12-inch touch screens now have 1,522 kilometers on this. But enjoying the tech, great tech behind that screen. You can get off-road information. You got your adaptive cruise control over there. Lane centering works extremely well, and surprisingly, I've had trouble with BlueCruise in the past, but in this 2025, it is working incredibly well. So let's go check out and test out and explain how BlueCruise works, because that's where I am the most surprised, because I've had issues with BlueCruise in the past, but it is just marvelous now. Let's go check it out. How you use Ford's essentially self-driving system. Now it works on highways, so the main roads, but it works pretty darn well. So to make it functional, you just have to turn the cruise control on and make sure that your adaptive cruise control is on in the settings, unless someone's turned it off on you, because let's say you buy a used Ford, maybe someone has turned it off on you. So all you need to do is have the adaptive cruise set control on. Normally it's already going to be on, so you need to turn cruise control on. Then once it's ready, it's going to say hands-free. So if you look at the dash here, you're going to get 2 things. You're going to get a little hands-free logo. On some models, maybe you'll just get the little blue car and steering wheel at the bottom. Well, that means you're now in hands-free mode. And as long as you continue to look at the road, which does get picked up by a sensor depending on the model. Some models it's above the steering wheel. Other models it's going to be over here. Now you have a sensor to make sure you continue to look at the road so that everything's legal and you're ready to react. So for legal reasons, you got to look at the road. You can occasionally look away for a short moment. But now you can drive hands-free, and it makes driving through, whether you're driving through traffic or at high speed on the highway, it's a lot safer, because we all know high speed on the highway, you might get into a conversation with your wife or try to talk to your child or children in the back. And there's that danger that the sudden slowdown, you're gonna miss it, or the person, if you're in a high speed zone, maybe someone's going half the speed limit on the highway, well, you won't just ram into them. The system's gonna slow down, and what's really neat is in traffic, it'll slow down even all the way to a stop, as we're about to do now, and actually then speed back up. And I've gotten feedback from people who have both the BlueCruise and the system from Tesla. Now, the system from Tesla is very interesting because it can do door-to-door driving, so not just on the highways, those big high-speed routes. Can also do it, so it does it in a broader area, but it doesn't work as well. Ford system had a lot of feedback from people who own both Ford and the Tesla, saying Ford system on the highways, at least on the highways, is much better. But the Ford system won't do the door-to-door, so from your house onto the highway, then back to your destination, such as work. But this is making my ride home from the airport after being up at 4 a.m. and not getting very much sleep the last few days. It's making it a lot more enjoyable, essentially stress-free, and all I need to do is keep my eyes open. So great system. Hope you get to try it out sometime soon. Let me know in the comment section if you've used either BlueCruise or Tesla's system, and if you've used both, well, make sure you drop a comment as well. Would love to hear your feedback. Maybe you've preferred the system in Tesla. If you've tried both, let us know. I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. I'm always here to try to help, to give the lowdown, and part of the lowdown means the pros and the cons, and I can tell you across many customers, I'm making this video because, well, across many customers and buyers and friends, they haven't had any issues at all with BlueCruise, and we had an issue with our BlueCruise on the Lightning. It was one of the main reasons I put it up for sale, but it did get fixed before the individual took delivery. But it was one of those really rare instances where it just needed the front camera changed. So you do have to have a vehicle that's equipped, of course, with the front camera and the sensors in the front. But if you do, depending on the model, over at Lincoln, you'll have 4 years of BlueCruise for free. Other models, it can be 3 months or a year. But if you've fallen in love with BlueCruise, well, then eventually you're gonna have a monthly payment to make. But if you don't, and you don't make the monthly payment with BlueCruise, well, then you still have all the technology aids to help you drive through traffic. It's just you need to keep your thumb or hand on the steering wheel, or to be completely legal, really 2 hands on the steering wheel. However, depending what area you're in. However, the vehicle's still gonna do lane centering, and it's still gonna slow down, even stop, and then take off again. So great system, I'm loving it. Until next time, I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. Marie is behind the camera, and our daughter's in the back. So if you want to support this small family business, it would be truly appreciated. Just hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the video with someone. That really helps the channel grow. Bigger community means more knowledge, and more knowledge means more power. Talking about power, I wish you all more cars and more power. Godspeed, everyone. Take care.